Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You look ready.
I am ready.
I'm just kidding. You don't look really terribly ready.
Take one.
You don't look really...
I'm about as ready as you can get today. It's nice to be back here.
Well, in case unless you've been living under a rock or something, guy next to me is Charles Smith.
Aloha.
He's kind of a big deal.
Kind of is the word.
Kind of a big deal. In Washington, into the first 10 miles of northern Oregon, you're kind of a big deal. And in Denmark still or no? Are you a big deal?
I'm a small deal.
You're a small deal?
Yeah.
How do you do Systembolaget in Sweden? So are you a big deal?
Big
there?
deal.
You're a big deal.
Yeah. Big in
See,
Sweden. Big in Japan.
Big deal. Big deal. So,
Yeah.
seriously. Welcome aboard, dude.
Nice to see you.
Long
yeah.
time coming, man.
I know. I
yeah,
can't believe it's good to see you.
So we've been huge. Charles honks for like ever. First time I visited your winery, you were at the original barn. I was with Merrick.
Yep.
Everyone was extremely hungover.
And soon to be.
And soon to be.
Yes.
9:30 in the morning. You were playing Love, Forever Changes.
Yep.
In the barrel room, and I was like, this guy's different.
Well,
And-
it's a great record.
It's a great record. Yeah. Magic ever since.
Exactly.
Got our minds blowing, barrel tasting there, completely hungover. The last thing I wanted to effing do was drink Syrah, and they still tasted good.
You just got to get back on the horse.
No, that's it. Yeah.
And the horse's name was Syrah, I guess.
Little hair of the dog. So, I was looking back actually because I was trying to get a feel for the years, how long it's been. It's been 25 years?
25 years.
20.
I can't believe it. I look in the mirror like, what the fuck happened to me?
Dude,
I know.
right?
Right.
Right?
And
No,
like-
it's all,
and like-
everything's getting grayer,
I
brother.
don't look at it. I mean, the thing is, one day I just woke up and go, wow, I thought I was 40, now I'm not.
Yeah. But let's think about it. It's been 25 years. It sounds fast, but you've done so friggin' much in that time.
Yeah, not a lot of sleep.
Has there been anyone more prolific in the American wine industry than you in these last 2 decades?
I
don't think so, dude.
I really don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because I don't really, reflect on that. But then sometimes I walked the other day into my library at the winery. I have 52,000 bottles of library wine. And and that's like a little excessive, right? But I have bottles of everything I had produced from the get-go. And I'm like, wow. This is not just the number of bottles, it's just the number of variety of bottles was just really astonishing. And
Were you proud or scared?
I was just, I think, a little bit proud. Like, wow, like what did I do? And and I was like going, I just make too many like single vineyard Syrah and so forth. But the thing is, how do you stop making something where the accolades are so high just because you don't want to have so many of them?
Right.
And I guess some things you just, sometimes you have to kill the thing you love.
You ever thinking about downsizing it, but it just ain't gonna happen?
Oh, maybe, but in small increments.
Small,
not on a big scale, but maybe I'll take a couple of the wines out of the K lineup or something like that. Just for make life a little simpler.
Another silly question: do you get more pride when you're making like a large amount of like substance Cabernet and it friggin' kicks ass, or do the 4 barrels of just really kick tail Syrah from a single vineyard fire you up, or is it the same?
It's same, but like opposite side of the coin. And the thing is, I don't mean it flippant, but it's easier for me to make those wines than to make all that Cabernet Sauvignon or like one of other wines that I made in volume. But the thing is, if you have the skill sets to do this and get these kind of results, shouldn't you apply that to wine that people can drink on a daily basis? Because everybody should have good access to good wine, no matter how much money you have in your pocket. And so that's why I'm probably even more proud of the more less priced wines, because it serves the community. The only difference between these wines and my fine, nice price wines is only difference is the yield and the time aging. That's it. That's it. There's no difference.
So the winemaking mojo and all that is kind of...
Oh yeah, it's all organically farmed and it's all native fermented, whether it's 2 barrels or 100,000 cases. Yeah. Never variation.
All native fermented.
100% everything. 100%.
Okay, folks at home, I don't know how... It's really hard, native fermenting 100,000 cases of wine, isn't it? Or do you have a way to...
Yeah, well, the wineries are really, really clean, so there's a great environment where you think happy vines make happy wine. And so it is, is and it isn't. Once you started it and got it going in your winery, there's a flora, and it picks up off that. You know, it starts like a relay race. Well, one yeast on the grapes will start take off, and the next one will hand it off, and that one will die out, and all of a sudden it's explosion with what's in the room, and it just goes all the way through. But the thing about it is, if you do that, think about it this way: there's nothing in my wine that's in anybody else's wine because I put nothing in my wine. So the point being is, my wine is very individual, and the thing is, no forces of death, none of the 70 plus additives you can put in American wine. Isn't that crazy? You can put over 70. And you know why those are legal? Because people use them.
Right.
I use nothing except a little bit of sulfur.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you for using sulfur, by the way.
Yeah, you got it.
Bam, I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Oh, just a little bit of SO2.
While we were talking, I just drank the boy. So he's amazing, across the board, whether it's Kung Fu Girl, House of Smith, Substance, whatever you name it. He is completely rock star at every line he's basically, from what I can tell, succeeded at everything he's accomplished. Well, we wouldn't have seen the failures. You wouldn't have put him out there. I'm sure he's failed at a couple things, but.
Yeah, I made a wine called Holy Cow. It was a really bad idea. Can't get it all right, but you've never seen it. So, and it was a cow with a halo over above his head and really big udder. So it was kind of a weird label. And I guess it never really caught on.
Well, I think your hit ratio is a little higher than most, so we'll let it go. All right, so all that talk, we are going to get back to, the premium basics today.
Sure.
I'd like to talk about these three wines.
Yeah.
3 of your babies.
Absolutely.
Three of the pride and joy wines in the lineup.
Absolutely.
And three of the wines that I feel continue this crazy evolution, like they're moving.
Yes.
Not stylistically, but qualitatively, there's these nuances, these little ticks and fixes and here and there. These wines are moving all the time.
Right.
Okay. And I want to start with the boy, because I got to tell you, when you first started making boy, it was this whole. I was like, oh fuck, Charles has Rias envy.
Right.
Was that true?
That I had what?
That you had Rias envy, or what did you want to do to make a Grenache?
I didn't realize it. The fact is that I didn't know that the result was going to be this really pale, very pure wine, and I was just really, thrilled that was what was going to come out of the ground. And when I did that, I realized that the possibility of getting this great purity and balance, and where you have this light color, but there's so much happening on the palate, it has to be really, really exciting. I love Chateau Neuf de Pop and all its different variations. And obviously, one of the most pure ones is 100% Grenache. And I have the perfect vineyard power line that's at 1,200 feet elevation and all cobblestones, dried river rock, basalt, and it just made all the sense in the world. And it just turned out that happens to be like the perfect place for Grenache here in the U.S. So,
because this is not an old vineyard. You planted these sticks, huh?
I planted that in 2013.
2013.
No, 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, maybe the greatest example of young vine Grenache on the planet. How did you coax that from those little?
I don't know.
How did it happen that fast?
I think it just appeared from the earth. The earth sometimes gives us pretty miraculous stuff, and the earth gave us this.
Yeah. Because getting back to it, the first ones were like a little, okay, we see what's going on. Da 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 da. The last 2 or 3 vintages, this wine's.
It came on.
Yeah, it's hammering.
Yeah, the vineyard just all of a sudden got right in sync, and there it is. I mean, there's nothing really to be done in making this wine, I mean,
and same as the rest of your gear, right? All native yeast,
yeah,
neutral barrels with this probably, or?
Of course, yeah, no new wood. It goes into 600-liter puncheons, neutral. Yeah, that's it.
So, does this make you want to look for other vineyards? Or like, no, Holmes, Powerline, no, this is my jam. I'm not going past this.
Really, I don't think you can do any better than that. That wine's. I know it's my wine, but the thing is, I love wine, and the thing is, I'm more hard on my own wines than anybody else, and that wine's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is. I can't even believe that this is coming from the U.S.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
Because of the profile, right. You would never expect it. So.
And this is a guy that's drank a little foreign Grenache.
A bottle or two.
A couple.
This morning.
I just texturally, I like where that wine's getting, and the tannins are getting finer year to year. They're just this dialing these.
Well, I dialed off the whole clusters. I wasn't doing as much whole cluster as I used to, because it used to be 100%, and it was very stemmy, very camphor and so forth, which I thought was really interesting. but I really wanted a little bit more refinement because it was always there. You know, it just needed to be.
You were doing whole clusters, like 5-year-old vines?
Yeah. You know, the crazy thing is, okay, you know that magazine, The Wine Spectator, so the 2000, you know, small wine publication. So the 2014 Syrah from Powerline got the #2 wine in the world.
Yep, remember that?
It was the third leaf, so the first harvest, 100% whole cluster, it got #2 wine in the world. Isn't that crazy? It was the first harvest in all stems.
Yeah. Because it goes completely opposite of, you know, what everybody in the blind, oh, you need old vines, you know, folification, you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. And the Aussies have been talking about that's all bullshit for like a long time.
Yes.
And you're like proving it.
Well, you know, the thing is the plants will naturally regulate themselves when they're getting older, they don't produce. Or you can actually do that yourself by having low yield and pruning and doing everything properly. And so, you know, I mean, this will be wild when the vines are 20, 30 years old. And it should be a little bit better, maybe.
Well, it's going to be the old 110-point scale, I guess.
I don't know.
Because you're already kind of there.
Yeah, pretty much. So I've been making this wine from the Milbrandt vineyards.
Yeah.
You know, the deal. I really like the Sundance vineyard. It's all sand and gravel, and there's a layer of coarse black sand in there as well. And so I think it gives us really great aromatics and almost a little bit like volcanic soil type.
Is it kind of sloping, kind of, or flat, pretty flat?
It's more or less flat, but just a gentle slope to the west, but nothing really to speak of. Yeah.
Because you were at the forefront, okay, with the forefront of the Syrah explosion, late 90s, early 2000s,
Sure.
Christopher Barron, all this kind of stuff. And at the time, it was kind of like, okay, Washington does Syrah now. Okay, it was like but it was really sudden, right? Now, at that point in time, in the last 20 years, are you still using the same clones, or have you still?
These are the same vines. I haven't changed
vines?
anything. No, nothing's changed.
Yeah. So like no learning, like, oh my God, I can't believe we always, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it seems like almost too easy.
I will tell you this, and not because I'm a wine person, not because I make wine in Washington.
Yeah.
Washington is a magical place for wine. I mean, I think that, you know, there's wonderful wines in California, I mean, for decades, but the thing is, it's getting warmer here, and it's always been tempered the way it is in Washington. We have the soil types. These are what they eat, and they taste. The terroir imprints are so strong on the wines. I mean, you know, when we get to this, I mean, you know, the only difference is their aspect. It's the same clones, so forth, and they are night and day different, but they have similar texture because my approach to the way that we do the wines.
And divergent nerd moment, what kind of clones are we talking here?
Oh, this is all Phelps.
It's all Phelps.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Washington
I'd never do that.
Yeah, Washington is planted with primarily all Phelps. And the thing is, it is the perfect clone for Washington State.
So as opposed to Oregon Chardonnay, y'all got lucky the first time around.
We got very lucky the first time around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're saying, there was kind of an explosion because there was only, you know, a handful of Syrah producers in Washington, at least that really brought out in the forefront, and they happened to be releasing around the same time. You know, Cayuse was in 97, I was in 99, and there was a winery called McRae, and they'd been making wine from there, actually from the adjacent vineyard here, the Boucher vineyard. Actually, the next wine is a little bit of a homage to them. I really like the style. I thought it had a little bit too much wood, it was a little too ripe, but I also found it delicious. And they were lovely people, Doug McRae, and they made the wines, and so I have my own take on that now as well. Yeah, so it was easy to stand out because there's only 5 or 6 real producers are focused on it, and they're all making pretty good wine, you know. It's easy to stand out because everybody was doing it.
Perfectly savory.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like savory with training wheels, like more like introducing people to the savory dark side of Syrah like that.
Well, certainly savory though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a mouth salivating too. I mean, it's just so beautiful, fine tannins, and it's got nice grip in it. Your whole mouth is just, you know, enveloped in this flavor. You know, it's just really cool.
You know, Washington Syrah has this character for these like more meaty, smoky, gamey, northern Rhone, if you will, sauvage elements to it. Is this something that kind of occurred naturally, or is this something that came together, and you know, like with regards to the native yeast, et cetera? Or
well, I think the native yeast also allows that to show itself more because it's all of its own self, and also it's the right place. We're on a higher latitude. I mean, where I also do a single vineyard Pinot Noir now, and we're at the same latitude as Beaune.
Yeah.
So here you go, in limestone soils and continental climate and the right temperatures, you're off and running. So in some ways, I think Washington State's like a mini France. There's a great place for the aromatic whites. There's a great place for the Burgundian varietals. There's several good places for the Bordeaux varietals. And Syrah ends up being a really good traveler around Washington to be able to make very distinctive style wines in different spots. And so, as you know, over the years, I've been had by wines so many times. I mean, the Wall wines are the Wall wines. Wines from Wall Slope are like that. The wines from Royal Slope, like the Royal City, is like that. Here's a winemaking style of the house, which is balanced and smooth. But it's really all comes down to where the grapes come from and what the earth gave us, which is pretty cool.
Speaking of different Syrahs,
yes.
we're moving from Wallach to Yakima.
Yes.
What's special about the Boucher Vineyard?
It has this incredible, dark, luscious, ripe character to it without the weight. It's so good.
Dude, this MCK is next level. This is always one of the greatest values in Syrah on the planet. And we're not talking vintage today on purpose, just in case. And we promised we weren't going to talk vintage at all.
We're not.
But I got to tell you, the most recent incarnations of MCK,
because
20, and this is next level.
It is, because MCK was always kind of a vagabond traveler around my portfolio. I just said use the word portfolio, okay?
Look at you and your portfolio.
Yeah, I know. Check out my portfolio.
Look at you.
No, but in my variety of things I was making, so sometimes it would come from this, sometimes it'd be from that, and I kind of moved it around. But then there was a point where it needed to land somewhere, and it made sense because I think this is a kind of historic, quintessential kind of style, if you will, profile of Washington Syrah, like I was talking about the McRae wine. They made a Cuvée Orleans.
Yeah.
And the Boucher Vineyard just happens to have this is all the vineyard. I mean, you can feel the texture, that these are my wines, but they are so distinctly different because the place they're grown is the right place for that particular wine. And you're right, it's next level stuff.
Dude, this is prog rock, man. There's a lot of notes here, dude.
It's so.
Because you got the savory.
I keep saying how
stuff.
good it is. I mean, it sounds like I'm, blowing my own horn, but on the other hand,
You're amazing.
yeah, I'm amazing.
You're incredible.
No, I think the wine is incredible.
wine's incredible.
Now, me, I'm certainly flawed, but the wine is not. It's quite delicious.
We won't forget Holy Cow.
Many people will.
We won't forget.
And they have.
No, but the key thing here is that that umami thing, against those Sauvage characters are bumping into lavender, bumping into florals, bumping into all this kind of stuff. So you don't just get straight because some of the Washington Syrah, they take it too far, they get a little bit angry, too meaty, too gamey, and you're like, bro, right? Other ones, there's a simplicity to the wine, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this one's like towing the line. Perfect.
Yeah, you have all those elements, but you have that lift of freshness. But it's got all that. I mean, this is a very young wine. I just imagine even 3 years from now when it completely just rounds it out. And this wine is good for 25, 35 years. I mean, in my library, I have the original Syrah, and I drank a bottle a couple of years ago. I only have 5 bottles left. Of that, and the wine is still at 1999, so got tons of life in it. So
we sold the first one, whichever one Merrick had. I don't know what year you gave him. I don't know, 2000 or something, 2001 or something like that.
Yeah, 2003 or 4 or something. I don't know. It's been so long. Well, we know exactly how long it's been. 25 years.
Our hair is telling us.
Yeah, I know. Grecian formula. Maybe I should try that out.
As Charles said earlier, and I want to bring this home to our California clients, because for some reason, and I'm going to tell you this honestly, we can sell like a shit ton of Oregon Pinot Noir here in Southern California. We have the hardest time Washington wine, and I don't understand, because Washington wine's more like California wine, but for some reason there's a barrier up.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think the thing is, I think all delicious wine is good, and the thing is, I think having a little exploration is it. It's not like you pick your favorite beer. Wine is, you travel around the world with a glass of wine, with a bottle of wine, with a friend. I mean, you want to go to, Argentina, get a good bottle of Mendoza, Malbec, and all of a sudden you're transported there. Or Chianti, you're transported to Italy. I mean, how wonderful is that? Transport yourself to
Transfer
Washington.
yourself to Washington.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous up
Dude,
there.
it writes itself. Are we taking notes here? We should be writing this down.
Well, the cue cards keep coming up pretty good.
Dude, what a pleasure. Thank you for coming out today. We're going to let you get back on the rest of your day. I know
Thank you for that wine earlier. That was actually really...
Juran's Sec?
Yeah, it was
nerd
delicious.
alert. Sorry.
But it was nice. I said, I'd like a little bit of wine. And he said, yours? And I said, no, how about some white wine? And so we grabbed one from the refrigerator, and I appreciate that. It's exactly what I needed.
And to the point, I'm glad I brought that because the other thing we haven't really completely touched on is the fact, we did touch on it a little bit earlier, but these wines are some of the most incredible values on planet Earth on purpose. I'm sure you'd love to sell everything in the portfolio for $300 a bottle and retire tomorrow, but no, you wouldn't.
It's kind of crazy. The wine should be more money, but the thing is, as long as we can get by and make a living, it's really cool to sell these wines for the accolades that they receive, you know, because that means everybody has access to buy like one of these awesome bottles of wine. Even if they have to, get another friend to come in on it just to, to buy one, they don't have a lot of change in their pocket, they can still do it and enjoy some of the, best wine made in the country.
And it's a big world out there. That Juran's I poured him that he loved is going to hit our shelves for around $22.
That's a bargain.
That's pretty
It's so good, yeah.
Big world out there.
It's a big world out there.
Charles knows it. Thanks, dude.
You're welcome. So good to
Awesome.
see you.
Yeah.
So happy to be back.
Keep working hard, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.